This is Hannibal and Piper here with a report for everybody on WWE 2021 talent salaries. Literally nothing in the wrestling news interests me today. Nothing in the Royal Rumble I found interesting. This was the most interesting piece of news today, so I'll go through it. This was put out by the Daily Mirror in the UK. I did put the link in the descriptions. The salaries do not include bonuses. There are bonuses for these wrestlers. According to reports, prior to 2021, Brock Lesnar was the highest paid performer in the WWE. He had a $12 million a year base salary and received $500,000 extra for each main event appearance he made above that $12 million. However, his contract is currently expired, so he is no longer the highest paid wrestler. Also keep in mind, some of these people only work part-time, and most WWE talent these days only work 1 day a week. Unless it's a pay-per-view week, then they work 2 days a week. And they rarely have to travel these days because all the events are in Florida. And back when they did do live events, there were bonuses in place for live events as well, based on where you were on the card. But let's go through the top male wrestlers' base salary. John Cena still under contract part-time. He is the highest paid, obviously the biggest star in the company, also a Hollywood star at $8.5 million base salary. Roman Reigns, no surprise, he's the second highest paid star at $5 million base salary. And I will go into the females after the males, but I'll start with the males. Randy Orton, number 3, $4.5 million a year. AJ Styles, who I once pinned twice in one night back when he was New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP champion, he makes $3.5 million a year. Seth Rollins makes $3 million a year. Goldberg, for the, I don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3 matches that he has to have a year, but he makes $3 million before bonuses. So anyone that wants to know how much they had to pay Goldberg to job to Drew McDonald, it was $3 million. The Undertaker is still under contract at $2.5 million a year, according to this report. The Miz also makes $2.5 million a year. Even though he looks like the local fry guy at Wendy's, the guy that works the fry station at Wendy's, Kevin Owens might be the luckiest fake fighter in the world, making $2 million a year. Dolph Ziggler makes $1.5 million a year. So for those that complain that he's not used right, keep in mind he's making $1.5 million for wrestling maybe once a week right now. That's pretty damn good money. Some people in their lives won't even make $1 million. Sheamus makes $1 million a year. Jeff Hardy makes $1 million a year. Bray Wyatt makes $1 million a year. My old pal Jinder Mahal makes $900,000 base salary a year. Wow. I remember the days when him and I were in Stampede wrestling together, and we would be lucky to get $20 a match at the Ogden Legion. So good for you, Jinder Mahal. Kane, I guess, is still under contract at $900,000 a year. The Big Show makes $850,000 a year. Samoa Joe, my old tag team partner, who coincidentally, Samoa Joe and I beat Jinder Mahal and his old partner whose name is also coincidentally Raj as well. Jinder's real name is Raj, but Samoa Joe and I beat Gamma Singh Jr. and Jinder Mahal in the Ogden Legion. That match is up on YouTube. And actually, I've beat Jinder Mahal every time I've wrestled him. But congratulations on the $900,000 a year. As far as the female superstar base salaries, Ronda Rousey, who I believe is still under contract, and according to this report, her contract hasn't expired yet. I even heard Meltzer say it hasn't expired yet. She makes $1.5 million a year. Becky Lynch makes $1 million a year. Charlotte Flair, $550,000 a year. Nikki Bella, $350,000 a year. Alexa Bliss, $350,000 a year. Mickey James, $300,000 a year. Brie Bella makes less than Nikki, $50,000 less at $300,000 a year. Natalya, another one I knew from Stampede Wrestling, where she would be making $50 a night, now makes $300,000 a year. So congratulations, well deserved. Sasha Banks, $250,000 a year. Asuka, $250,000 a year. Dana Brooks, $200,000 a year. Bailey, $200,000 a year. Lana, $200,000 a year, but we do know Lana, and a lot of these people, keep in mind, make a ton of money from Instagram, and I don't believe Instagram has been restricted, but there was a report that came out not too long ago that Lana made a huge, like hundreds of thousands of dollars from Instagram posts. So Naomi makes $180,000 a year, Carmella $120,000 a year. Nia Jax doesn't make that much, $100,000 a year. Sonya Deville, $100,000 a year. Mandy Rose, $80,000 a year. Ruby Riott, $80,000 a year. Sarah Logan, $80,000 a year. Tamina, $80,000 a year. Now, I did say Nia Jax only makes $100,000 a year, but keep in mind, that's before bonuses, and they only work one day a week for the most part. Most people would kill to make $100,000 a year to work one day a week. That's absolutely amazing, and be a worldwide television star. Plus, yeah, okay, they may have restricted Twitch, but from what I understand, they're still allowing wrestlers to make YouTube money and other platforms. So they make a lot of money.